good morning. You're welcome to Newday on PTV. My name is Anthony Momodi. Welcome to this week's exciting edition starting from today. And I'm not going to be doing it all by myself. I've got Africa's finest lady just by my side. Good morning.
Good morning, Anthony. Good morning and welcome to Newday this beautiful week. We hope that this week would be exciting. We hope that it's going to be, blessed, and everything you have to achieve this week, you would achieve all of them. Welcome to the program.
Yeah, definitely. We've got very important concerns this week. Very interesting for today. Loads of concerns. And not forgetting our deep conversations. Today happens to be a very important day in history, and I will be just looking at very, very important issues. Which of them do you think caught a fancy? The missing persons?
Yeah, missing persons, yeah, that's is a very, very huge issue, because not until last year, before a structure was set up to really tackle the issue of missing persons in Nigeria. Before then, no one ever had statistics on the number of persons missing in Nigeria. But the step that was taken last year, that was a good step forward to find out how we will start tackling the problems of missing persons, because people just disappear and nothing is being done. At the end of the day, their families just give up on finding them. But since there's a structure now being set up on tackling the issue of missing persons, that's the way forward.
All right, that's one of our deep concerns for the day. But other concerns for me has to do with the fact that the Pharmaceutical Council of Nigeria did seal up some very, would you say, fake pharmacy outlets in Abia State, and that was very instrumental for me, because it means they've saved a lot of lives of people who would have died taking fake drugs.
Yes, it's very unfortunate that human beings don't even have that sympathy anymore. All they want to do is make money at the expense of other people's lives, and it's very, very unfortunate. I think this is something this is a move that should be continuous. Yeah, it should be encouraged to wipe out such people. For me, my own concern is from Lagos. It's on the humanitarian side, talking about police detaining a 7 months pregnant woman just over 50 naira, because she was thrown into police cell for reporting an assault on her. Imagine, she tried to lodge a complaint, and then she was detained, assaulted over 50 naira.
Okay, Nigerian police.
What's the way forward?
15 naira not good enough amount of money to
it's
detain.
Really terrible.
7 months old woman. You're not just putting the woman at risk. We're talking about the baby, the unborn child at risk. And it just shows you how inhuman some of the security agencies
that's not nice.
can be.
They're out there to protect lives and properties, not to
take the lives.
It's really sad.
We hope that issue is actually sorted out. Another concern has to do with the fact that resident doctors are at it again. They're threatening to down tools one more time. I think the resident doctors, they've not perfected this act. If they say without downing tools, it gets itchy for them. And at the same time, we want to also look at the federal government not always keeping to her own side of the bargain.
Yeah, it's really a pathetic situation, because at the end of the day, when they down their tools, it falls on the ordinary man who will go to the hospital without having services given to him. The healthcare system is bad already, and then having those who work there saying we're not going to work for a number of time for a particular period, it's going to affect everyone. It's going to affect the masses, not the elites who have the money to.
True, that's very true. All right, don't forgetting also that we did have over the weekend some issues with the ruling party, talking about the All Progressive Congress. They did have their Congress elections as regards this local governments. I told you that once that money thing was going to come into, we were going to see crisis. And true to the word, in Kaduna, in Rivers, just APC Congress they were holding for local government issues, there were lots of violence. So it just tells you that probably
we saw it coming.
We saw it coming.
So at the end of the day, we're still in the same, in the same thing about everybody being there for their own selfish interest. What do I have to gain? Okay, there's something big to get from them. Let me go.
All right, that's some of our deep concerns for the day, and probably let's hit Linus Okorie's clinic. Let's see what he's got in store for us today.
Hello, great people of Nigeria. Welcome to the Leadership Clinic. Today, I'll be speaking to you about what I've titled Being Positive in a Negative Situation. I have just returned from a very important assignment. The assignment was to speak in a graduation ceremony of a very important school in this country, Trafficking Academy in Uyo. I was so thrilled by a very interesting story of Michael Essien, a young girl who was the best graduating student in this institution, winning over 20 top awards. And the story behind this young lady that inspired me so much, and in fact got tears rolling out of my eyes, is the fact that the community that is hosting this institution, Trafficking Academy, got an opportunity to send in a couple number of students every year on scholarship. And this young lady, who was the best graduating student in the school, actually was from a very disadvantaged home, poor family, what we term to as poor family in the part of the country that we come from. Her father, a struggling man, her mother, a struggling woman, trying to make sure that this young lady could make a difference in the village. And so this young lady was admitted into this school. For 6 years, she worked so hard, beating hands down so many other children, mostly from privileged homes and privileged backgrounds. And it's just, stuck with me that it is possible that in our little environment where we come from, we become the best despite of the conditions, despite of the backgrounds that we come from. And a lot of people that I've spoken with most recently are putting so much pressure on themselves just because of a negative situation that they found themselves in. Either they were born in a family that could not afford certain needs of life, or they are failed in a particular situation, or they are going through a particular challenge at the moment that it looks like the world has ended. The story of this young girl inspired me so much that I thought it's worth my sharing, so that people who are in the same position with that young girl can now decide to say, hey, you can become anything that you want to become because of the fact that you have a positive spirit. You have a spirit that says that despite of my condition, I can push, I can grow, I can become, I can make a difference. That everybody has a right to become great, including even me, who is facing some challenges. That's the way you should think at every point in time. That in every negative situation, there is a positive story that you can get out of it. It is the fact that the leaders that are making things happen in our world are leaders who, with less resources, they are pushing to achieve more. With less resources, with less material resources, they are accomplishing more. With less capacity in terms of human capacity, they are still achieving more because there's a resolve in their spirit. They are positive in their spirit that they will make a difference, that they will give hope to the hopeless, because leaders are dealers in hope. In this time in our country, great people of Nigeria, it is our responsibility as leaders to prove that even though the world is saying Nigeria will fail, that we as Nigerians will say, wait a minute, we're not failing anywhere. We are going to succeed and become a nation that the entire world will respect. It is possible that this country becomes great again. We have to go back to the way that we're thinking about ourselves. Let us stop thinking about the fact that Nigeria is a failing state as people are referring to us. We're not a failed nation. We will not fail as a nation. I want us to embrace the spirit of positivity in these times, so that as we begin to be positive about individual lives, our self-confidence will be restored. And once our self-confidence is restored as a people, then we will be able to achieve the kind of results that will thrill the world. Great people of Nigeria, you must remember, If a man doesn't have a purpose of waking up, sleeping becomes interesting.
All right, being positive, regardless of how negative the environment might be, is a key word from Linus Okori. All right, hitting you with the trending stories in the last 24 hours. Let's begin from the home front and tell you that acting president Yemi Osinbajo has condemned the appalling ambush, attack, and abduction of soldiers, civilians who were carrying out their duties to the nation in the Lake Chad Basin frontier exploration. Osinbajo commemorates with the families, relatives, and associates of those who lost their lives in the despicable onslaught and wishes the injured speedy recovery. The acting president, after an emergency meeting with the military chiefs on Thursday, issued fresh directives to the Nigerian military and all security agencies to immediately scale up their efforts and activities in Borno State in order to maintain a strong, effective control of the situation and secure lives and properties.
All right, on the oil sector, we have here the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria has issued a 21-day ultimatum to employers in the oil and gas industry to address lingering anti-labor issues or face a nationwide strike. The strike notice was served by the Senior Staff Trade Union after its Central Working Committee meeting in Abuja. According to a statement by the Pengasson National Public Relations Officer, Fortune Obi, on Sunday, the 21-day ultimatum to stakeholders in the oil and gas industry has become necessary due to persistent anti-labor practices by the management of some companies in the sector.
All right, let's tell you that the Nigerian Army has apologized for the erroneous statement issued earlier on the rescue of the National Petroleum Corporation staff who were ambushed by the Boko Haram insurgents on July 25th alongside its troops and member of the Civilian Joint Task Force Exploration in Borno. The Army made the apology in a statement issued by the spokesman Sani Usman, made available to defense correspondent in Abuja.
And moving on, the Conference of Speakers of State Houses of Assembly in Nigeria has commended the National Assembly for the successful completion of the first leg of the amendment process on the 1999 Constitution, particularly the depth of work done to deepen democracy and improve on the quality of governance at all levels in the country. In a statement by the chairman, Ismail Akamba, he urged the National Assembly to quickly forward the items approved by both chambers to the state for expeditious deliberation and action by the 36 state houses of assembly. Gamba, who is Speaker, Kebbi State House of Assembly, stated that since the National Assembly has at different stages of debate and discussions on the amendment process involved the Conference of Speakers, it should not be difficult for the 36 state legislative houses to vote on the issues and revert back to the National Assembly.
Let's tell you that a faction of the All Progressive Congress, otherwise known as the APC Akida in Kaduna State, has challenged the governor of the state, Nasser El-Rufai, and other leaders of the party to submit to the people that elected them by allowing members to elect those that will represent the party at its national convention in Abuja. The group condemned the action taken by the leaders of the party to send a list of people that will represent them without following the guidelines set by the National Working Committee of the All Progressive Congress.
Members were invited, that is the stakeholders were invited, 2:30 on Friday. We were there until 7:30 in the evening, but the acting chairman and other leaders of the party did not show up. As major stakeholders, law-abiding citizens, and indeed, very senior members and colleagues of the APC, we sat until 7:30.
Many things are happening. Many of your colleagues are in jail, arrested. You are intimidated. You are journalists representing Kaduna. You're supposed to set the face. Many of you cannot speak. Many of you cannot write. Many of you have been cowed to silence. Many of you here in this house have been compromised. It is time for you to stand up. You must stand up to the ethics of your profession. My father was a journalist, and I'm an activist. I may speak differently from the way politicians speak. And I'm saying it very clearly. We in Kaduna State will not accept, will not agree, will not endorse, will not compromise to any attempt by anybody calling himself the leader of the party to sit down and write names and send it to the National Secretariat. Then what is the essence of removing Jonathan Goodluck out of power in 2015?
Members.
Political thugs disrupted a press conference organized by senators and members of House of Representatives under the platform of All Progressives Congress in Kaduna State. It was alleged that while the press conference was ongoing, a divisional police officer in charge of the area named Abdullahi led the thugs into the Nigeria Union of Journalists Kaduna State Council Secretariat, the venue of the press conference. Vice President Zone A of the Union Northwest Nigeria, Comrade Yusuf Idris, described the situation as unfortunate while urging the High Command of the Nigerian Police Force to investigate the matter and bring the perpetrators of such dastardly act to justice.
It is unfortunate. It is a display of tyranny and dictatorship. This is Nigeria Union of Journalists Kaduna State Council. People come here to address press conference. All people come, the good, the bad, the ugly. The people that belong to El-Rufai can come. The Akida can come. Restoration can come. All parties can come because journalists are not partisan. So when you see the cream de la cream of APC that attended this press conference, Senator Shehu Sani of Kaduna Central District was here. Senator Suleiman Otman Hunkui was here of the Kaduna North. Ambassador Sule Buba was here. Honorable Isa Ashuru was here. Suleiman AG, former Accountant General, was here. J.D. Ephraim Esquire was here. Tijani Ramalan, the owner of Liberty Radio and Television, was here. I can go on and on and on to list the people that came here to attend the press conference. That's why I said it is the cream de la cream of APC.
And I was reliably informed that the talks, the officials of the NUJ Kaduna State Council have taken all the necessary measures, because before the press conference, I understand they informed the police command that there's going to be a press conference by so-so people and that they needed security around the press secretariat. And unfortunately, yes, the security was provided, but unfortunately the DPO, who is in charge of this area, was the one that I was told came in with thugs, who later on disrupted the press, the news conference.
All right, still talking politics in Kaduna State. The Kaduna State chapter of the All Progressive Congress has said on Sunday that the senator representing Kaduna Central Senatorial District, Shehu Sani, remained suspended from the party. Senator Shehu Sani was suspended by his Tudun Wada ward of the party. The state chapter of the party had, in a statement signed by Assistant Publicity Secretary Saliu Sono, said the party was left with no other option than to uphold the suspension in order to restore discipline to the party.
Crisis is rocking the Adamawa State chapter of the opposition People's Democratic Party as factions drag over its leadership at the state level. Abdul Rahman Boboy, who was installed as a chairman of the party in the state by the embattled Ali Modu Sharif, is asking Joe Madaki, who leads the party on the Magrafi-led faction, as state chairman, out of seat. This position is, however, refuted by Joe Madaki.
Chairman of the state. And this has been given to all the chairmen in Nigeria, authorizing them to come and conduct these congresses, authorizing them to take delegate to the National Convention, authorizing them as the legitimate body of PDP in Adamawa State. This letter is signed by our able National Organizing Secretary, Senator Abduningi, COA.
When Abdulrahman Boboyi were making some kind of political noise, over the pages of newspaper, they come on stage what we call forming a new political party. And they said it's a faction. It has never been a faction if Nigeria is governed by rules and regulations. And if the PDP constitution is also taken out of our Nigerian constitution, I want to tell you that all of them were in the wrong to have done that. Therefore, for him calling himself to say he's chairman, no, it's not at all.
All right, still giving you trending stories in the last 24 hours on the home front. Let's say that an Abuja-based clergyman, Pastor Edward Olutoke of Givers Embassy, has charged Nigerians on greed as a problem in the society. Pastor Edward gave this charge during the inaugural service of the Givers Embassy in Abuja. Let's get more on this story.
It was a charged atmosphere of world music and prayer during the official opening of the Givers Embassy in Abuja.
Sickness is the order of the day in your family. It will never be heard that you are backward in academics.
Pastor Edward Olutoke, while briefing journalists present at the service, says greed is a fundamental challenge this country is confronted with.
The problem of our society is greed. It's not Biafra, it's not Boko Haram, it's not... The problem of Nigerian society is greed. So if we can kill greed, we have solved all Nigerians' problems. Too many people grab what they don't need. So we keep getting more and more. We don't give back to the society.
According to the clergy, this menace of greed needs to be fought at all spheres of endeavors. Due to this fact, greed among many others, his church will not be taking offering and tithe as it is widely done in most churches in the world.
It's one of those assignments you cannot explain. You wake up one morning and God is saying, no, if I truly build a church, I can sustain it. Even if nobody brings anything to the church, me, the owner of the church, I can sustain it. And then you begin to argue, okay, how can that happen? How would you sustain it? They won't bring tithe, they won't bring offering. He said, that is what I want.
The service also included inauguration of the church football club and also a session for the widows who will be empowered with 20,000 naira monthly stipends by the church.
We are saying thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. Oh, Lord.
During the talk show, Christians were charged to embrace politics as the way forward for good governance and accountability. Austin Peacemaker, PTV News.
All right, now moving over to the foreign scene, Kenyan police say they have shot dead an attacker who forced his way into the rural home of Kenya's Deputy President William Ruto, entering a siege that lasted several hours. Ruto and his family were not at the compound near the western city of Eldoret at the time. The man had entered the residence after injuring a police guard with a machete and stealing his gun, police said.
All right, coming from Russia, let's say that Russian President Vladimir Putin has ordered 755 U.S. officials of the U.S. Embassy to leave Russia.
And then in Venezuela, electoral officials say turnout in the controversial election for a constituent assembly was 41.5%, a figure disputed by the opposition. The opposition coalition said 88% of voters abstained and they refused to recognize the election. The opposition also called for more protests on Monday.
All right, coming from Qatar, let's say that the 4 Gulf nations and the blockade of Qatar say the initial 13 lease demand is back on the table.
And in Pakistan, Nawaz Sharif, removed from office by Pakistan's Supreme Court, said on Saturday he has elected his brother to be the nation's next prime minister. Shahbaz Sharif, however, cannot step into the right away because he is not a member of the National Assembly. He would have to resign his provincial position and run for the parliament seat vacated by his brother first.
All right, that sounds close to Nigeria. All right, let's take you to Australia and tell you that Australia's city of Sydney records the highest temperature in 150 years of 27 degrees Celsius.
And in China, Chinese leader Xi Jinping presided over a major military parade on Sunday, hours after US President Donald Trump renewed his criticism over Beijing's failure to rein in North Korea. The parade, long anticipated but only officially announced Saturday, was part of the celebrations of the 90th anniversary of the People's Liberation Army. It was also viewed as a potent reminder of Xi's firm grip on power ahead of a key Communist Party meeting this fall, where a major leadership reshuffle is expected.
All right, going to Venezuela. At least 10 persons have been killed in a vote-related election in the last 24 hours in Venezuela. And let's also let you know that U.S. second quarter growth accelerated to 2.6%. While from Israel, Israeli soldier who injured and killed a Palestinian attacker has lost his appeal. And into sports, let's tell you that the England female cricket national team is close to victory at the Oval, while Manchester United is close to a £40 million move of Matic from Chelsea to Manchester United. And our British Foreign Minister Philip Hammond says UK will not cut taxes after Brexit. And the other stories coming here says US says there are no values in the United Nations Security Council meeting as regards North Korea, while also announcing that US plans to curb nicotine in tobacco. Spanish economy is set to be back to pre-crisis situation. And finally, appointed mayor by Duterte, talking about the Philippine president, has been shot dead alongside a drug suspect. And that's all we have as regards trending hot stories, both on the home front and on the global scene. We'll be going for a quick break. When we come back, we've got very interesting discussion. Today happens to be the United Nations World Day Against Human Trafficking, and we know for the last 1 week there have been loads of activities
yes.
And you were just saying behind the scene that when it came to the D-Day, which is today, the activities are all run dry.
The last one was on Saturday, where NAPTIP organized a walk to actually create awareness on the menace of human trafficking in Nigeria. So there was a walk by all NAPTIP officials.
How far did you people work, and did you think
I was a part of them, so okay. Yes, I knew about it.
Do you think that's a very strong strategy?
Yeah, I thought of it actually when I saw the news. I mean, taking a walk to create awareness. So yes, okay, creating awareness. After that, what next? I mean,
just a lazy man's way of doing awareness campaign.
I believe stronger measures should be taken. Yes, because this is a very, very strong issue in Nigeria.
All right, that's what we'll be focusing on. We have the director of the Nigerian Youth Council of Nigeria in the person of Mr. Haruna Okatahi. Will be in the studios to look at how youths are involved in human trafficking, especially they are the victims, how we can prevent the youth from being part of this menace, and actually how they can contribute to nation building. We'll be doing that after this break.
Bros, I find correct words. Huh? See the shop for that side.
Auntie, look all that. Where be correct words? Now the shop be down, now the next one.
Peter, see as people they pack, they go to the shop, go buy clothes. It don't reach like 5 days now. I don't suspect this Tunde way this is where in Waka could carry Waka. See, I go blow whistle. I go blow whistle to Kuku spoil.
Your whistle. Come on, go investigate the matter before you blow whistle. Whistle blood. Come on, come.
Thank you for coming.
Show first. Come. Now only you the circle for this market. Why be said only your shop everybody come? I just want blow whistle. I go blow something.
This will not be whistle blowing matter. Now MTN goodie bag.
What it be MTN goodie bag?
With MTN goodie bag, if you carry your market enter another level, whether not for Facebook or for WhatsApp or for Twitter, for as low as 25 naira.
25 naira.
Yes.
Or buy 5 what you like for 50 naira. Dial *131# to start.
So with MTN goodie bag, your business go pure.
Do you know that PTV remains the best place to showcase those lovely goods and services of yours? Yes, with our visibility in 36 states of Nigeria and over 50 countries of the world, we definitely have the tallest reach. What are you waiting for? Book your adverts now. Call us with the number displayed on your screen.
My name is Ibrahim Sulemalgui.
My name is Dr. Matthew Ashikeni.
I am Dr. Muhammad Adamu Askira.
My name is Comrade Tosin Adeyanju.
Keep watching.
Keep on watching.
Keep watching
the program Newday.
Newday.
Newday on People's Television.
People's TV.
People's TV.
Business is at its busiest, yet it's rush hour. Feel the pulse of the economy. Understand issues that plague the Nigeria economy. Join in the massive transformation happening in the Nigeria capital market. Be financial literate as I bring to you key players, the movers and shakers of the Nigeria economy. Flow with the narratives of how regulations and enforcement, corporate governance, innovative technology, investors' confidence, and market institutions affect the economy. Be the first to feel the pulse of the market on Mondays and Fridays, 4:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. with Gabriel Nisi.
Politics is life, and life is politics.
Facebook, on Twitter, they govern in those places, but they're not ready to come offline.
On this platform, controversy takes center stage.
We are all aware how this present Minister of Agriculture imported grass from Brazil.
They say we're the largest economy in Africa. I never felt the impact of that economy in my pocket.
And I don't really trust the Do join me as we find out who gets what, when, and how.
On Facebook, like our page and share our posts at People's TV NG. On Twitter, follow us at PTV_NG. Follow us on Instagram at PTVNG. Watch and subscribe to our YouTube channel, People's TV. Visit our website, www.ptvng.com. Subscribe now and join the conversation online. People's TV, preferred people station.
Do you know that PTV remains the best place to showcase those lovely goods and services of yours? Yes, with our visibility in 36 states of Nigeria and over 50 countries of the world, we definitely have the tallest reach. What are you waiting for? Book your adverts now. Call us with the number displayed on your screen.
On Facebook, like our page and share our posts at People's TV NG. On Twitter, follow us at PTV_NG. Follow us on Instagram at PTVNG. Watch and subscribe to our YouTube channel, People's TV. Visit our website, www.ptvng.com. Subscribe now and join the conversation online. People's TV, preferred people station.
My name is Ibrahim Sulemalgui.
My name is Dr. Matthew Ashikeni.
I am Dr. Muhammad Adamu Askira.
My name is Comrade Tosin Adeyanju.
Keep watching.
Keep on watching.
Keep watching
the program Newday.
Newday.
Newday on People's Television.
People's TV.
Do you know that PTV remains the best place to showcase those lovely goods and services of yours? Yes, with our visibility in 36 states of Nigeria and over 50 countries of the world, we definitely have the talent reach. What are you waiting for? Book your adverts now. Call us with the number displayed on your screen. Do you know that PTV remains the best place to showcase those lovely goods and services of yours? Yes, with our visibility in 36 states of Nigeria and over 50 countries of the world, we definitely have the talent reach. What are you waiting for? Book your adverts now. Call us with the number displayed on your screen. Do you know that PTV remains the best place to showcase those lovely goods and services of yours? Yes, with our visibility in 36 states of Nigeria and over 50 countries of the world, we definitely have the talent reach. What are you waiting for? Book your adverts now. Call us with the number displayed on your screen.
Alright, welcome back. It's still Africa's finest breakfast show. I'm glad to know you're still with us. On 25th September 2015, 193 member states of the UN adopted the 2030 Agenda for SDG, which includes 17 goals aiming to transform the world by 2030 by eliminating poverty, discrimination, abuse, and preventable deaths, addressing environmental destruction, and bring the era of development for all people to prevent human trafficking. Family planning is key, and thus the 2017 World Year theme is family planning, empowering people and developing nations. All this has to do with human trafficking. When all this are done and achieved, then human trafficking is going to be reduced to the barest minimum. That brings us to the topic of today's discussion, curbing human trafficking in Nigeria. And we have as our guest the director of the National Youth Council of Nigeria in the person of Haruna Okatahi. Good morning, nice to have you join us. I had to be careful calling that name, it sounded Japanese. Good morning, nice to have you join us.
Good morning, Nigeria.
All right, for you, how do you think the youth and human trafficking are related?
Yes, like over the years, human trafficking has done a big blow on Nigerian youth because our leaders are not responsible enough to curb this menace. Why? Because of corruption and so many vices. Now, what National Youth Council is doing under the leadership of Murtala Mohammed Gamji through the Directorate of Legal is collaborating with all state chairmen and take this sensitization to the grassroots. There are better things the youth of Nigeria can do than being allowed to be trafficking out of the shores of Nigeria where they don't know what they are going to do. So on our own part, we've been trying to work out a framework where we'll sensitize our youths in all the local governments and the units of the federation to curb that menace of trafficking. Most especially from the south, southeast, and northeast.
Okay. Now, after the sensitization, what comes next? Because from some of the points you raised, there's need for empowerment. So after sensitization, what comes next?
Yeah, that's why you see the government need to come in and give Nigerian youth the right sense of belonging. so that, because some of the things they tell people when they want to take them out of the shores of Nigeria, they have a greener pasture there. They deceive them on that. Whereas the pastor here is more greener than the one that is there. Because there's no way in the world today that you go and you feel at home other than your own country. Because if you're an illegal immigrant in any country of the world, you'll be running helter-skelter. Even sometimes, some people even end up embezzling their money. So you see so many things. The other day we saw on the internet where Nigerian ladies are living in the bush when you have a house here in Nigeria to stay. So our government really needs to come on board to make some of these things priorities, to prioritize these issues and be able to like carry the youth along. There is enough resources in the world, enough resources in Nigeria, that if government are able to invest on, people will not come and cajole me or bamboozle me to want to take me out of Nigeria, not knowing what I'm going there for.
Right, okay. We know that recently NAPTIP has been doing, or this past week, they had a number of activities to really mark this year's Day of Human Trafficking in persons. And one of them is that we found out that they are set to establish a special task force to combat trafficking in persons. To you, how do you see that? Is it a giant stride?
Yes, you see, excuse me. You see, we need to swing into actions and not too many media propaganda. Because over the year, I remember when in 1999 when democracy came back to Nigeria and Her Excellency, the wife of the former Vice President of Nigeria, took this on. I don't know, because every 1999 till now, it's a whole lot of years that we're supposed to have had a framework on what we want to achieve to curb this trafficking. But it's very unfortunate that each time after any election, they come talk. After election, everybody go to sleep. When elections are coming back again, people come back again and want to tell us new stories. So we want proactive actions, not too many talk. There are ways we can do all these things. If you go to Edo State, the land is very fertile, very, very fertile. If you go around Nigeria, you see plenty things that the government can engage the youth in that will dissuade their mind away from being carried out of Nigeria.
Why do you think the government is finding it difficult to do this needful
It's because
obvious?
They lack the political will. That's the truth.
Is it because they want to use them for political talks?
Well,
what would you pin it down to?
Yeah, well, if you said so, I think I'll agree with you. But the fact remains that we need proactive government policies, not this jamboree kind of policies that will benefit me.
So, like example, NATIP committee setting up, should they be setting up committees when they are primarily made to tackle this? Now they want to set up another
committee. Is all jamboree now. Go to work. Let you do the work you are assigned to do. You must not come and tell Nigerians we are setting up committees.
Yeah.
No, do your work and let everybody see that you are doing your work. Even if you are setting up committee, must you come to tell us? It's your work now. Go and do your work. It's like, for instance, now you are telling a doctor is setting up committee to want to treat a patient. How does it work? It doesn't work like that. Do your work. As a doctor, if you go to the clinic, you meet a doctor now, he will examine you, conduct the test privately. You will not come to the world and tell this person, I want to conduct this test. No. But we all know different things that fit ourselves. So they should not come and be telling us that they want to set up committees. Let them go do their work. That is what they are paid for.
They also organized the walk on Saturday, a road walk to create awareness.
Yes, I like awareness. Awareness is okay.
But is doing a walk the best form of awareness? How many, what distance can you cover and which areas can you go to? You're telling those in the FCT
every now and then when we want to take a walk, we'll do a walk in Abuja and Lagos, Port Harcourt, where probably the media will see us and project us to the world that this is what we are doing. But let us be sincere to ourselves. We're not doing ourselves any good if we continue deceiving ourselves. It's not enough to work, though it's good to sensitize. You see, at a time, I think on different radio, television stations, you see sensitization and things are going, they keep telling people this, that. The problem is Nigeria, we know where the problem is. Let us go to the problem and solve it. Let us enough of plenty talk. Because it is our own future that, and their own children's future, they are mortgaging. Because by tomorrow, if you feel you are enjoying it today, your children is abroad, blah, 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 they could go there, they will even be more, they could go abroad, and you think they are going to be a better person, which they will disappoint you at the end of the day. Why not create the environment friendly for people to thrive? We will all live and die. We will not stay in this world forever. So whatever thing you think you want to gather now for your own children alone and your family, you will go and live there and you don't know how they will manage it when you leave. But if you invest in people and carry people along, give them the right sense of belonging, they will have reason to want to celebrate you a very long time after your death. People will keep telling people your story, what you did when you were the head of this organization. And if you are doing the wrong thing, the same way they will still be telling people that he's a very wicked man, is this, is that, is that. So it's just.
All right, before we let you go, my final question has to do with, do you think the punishment given to those who actually take part in trafficking is strong and good enough to deter people from engaging in human trafficking?
You see, there is no punishment that is too good, and there is no punishment that is too bad for those that are trafficking, because it is very simple. So many people knew in Lagos that if he is caught stealing anything, he's going to be burnt, jungle justice. But still, people go to do it. So what's the reason behind one wanting to do something that is against the law? This is where there is this gap between the leaders, the political leaders, and the masses. You understand? So, no matter what punishment, even in China, you catch you as a corrupt person, they'll kill you. But people still involve themselves in corruption. So there's no enough punishment that is too much for anything. But the thing is, instead of melting out punishment, but we can reduce all these things to the barest minimum. And the only way we can reduce it to the barest minimum is this: enough sensitization, and let those saddle the responsibility, NAPTIC, police, justice, let everybody go to work. This, for crying out loud, this is what you are paid for. I think in police there is anti-trafficking units. Everywhere there is. But everybody is sleeping because it's not enough.
Okay. What would be your message to the youth out there as regards empowerment?
Like to be very honest, this present administration, if you go through their budget and what they are doing online, you see there are plenty packages for Nigerian youths in agriculture, industry, every. The only problem we have is sometimes we don't take our time to read.
Well, most of the youths, not all of them have access to internet and power. So how can they access this goodies you're talking about?
But if you check the last time Google, Facebook gave an analysis, Nigerians daily use, or 30 million Nigerians use internet. How many are we? We are 180 million. So if you check the percentage, you see reasonably, if those ones that are using the internet, they use it for the right purpose. They'll be able to communicate, because like if you're using the internet for the right purpose and I'm close to you, I see you growing, I will come and ask you now, bro, what's the way now? You should be able to tell me that, okay, just go here, because it's not disturbing me. But the issue is sometimes we use internet for the wrong purpose. So if you check out the 30 million that are using the internet, maybe hardly you could find like 5 million that are really using it for the purpose in which that will benefit them. So we still need enough, because like what the National Youth Council is doing through the directorate, we have various directorate, agriculture, health, entertainment, plenty. So what they do is they try, like for instance now, in the National Youth Council now by October, we'll be doing this National Youth Confab on entertainment. bros, if you know what it is, what Nigeria is losing on entertainment industry every year, you cry out loud. And United Nations has said it that in the next 5 years, entertainment will be a kind of a cash cow for Nigerian economy. And it is high time for Nigerian to take advantage of all these things. If you read all these things, you will see them. But how do you position yourself so that when it comes, you grab it? That is the problem we have. So but we are now using this opportunity to tell Nigerians to believe in Nigerian and to work for the unity of Nigerian. For we are better, stronger when we are together than when we divide.
All right, my final question before I let you go. You made mention of the South-South and Southeast, which affects somebody here too. So we'd like to know, what is it about this region that they have high number of people?
You know what? Because of get-rich syndrome, to be very honest.
Right.
There is this get-rich syndrome because if you see your neighbor that has money, you either want to come and oppress you because of the money he has. So you want to do everything possible to get money and also oppress people you don't even need. That's the problem. But there was a gist. I was gisting one of my friends, my very close friend from the Southeast. He said that brother is very rich. He's an international businessman. He's my friend. But he's not doing too bad. So when I'm discussing one day, he said he wants to build a duplex. I was not asking, why do you need a duplex? I've gone to his village, you have a very big houses, family houses. He said no. He said that his brother has money. He doesn't want to help him. So he wants to build a duplex so that when he wakes up in the morning, if your brother opens his door and call his name and say, how are you? Say, fine, sir. So they'll be watching that face to face. So you see this perception. So we don't need all these things. In fact, like one of the bishops said that we go to borrow money we don't need to oppress people we don't even know. So why do we go all this extent? We should just do what we know we can do within the ambits of the law. If God bless you, what do you need on earth? Train up your children, help people, and live a fulfilled life. Not the luxurious cars. Any motor that comes to the world today, you see it in Nigeria before the next 1 month. And yet we are the most, we are one of the poor nations in the world. Now recently, let me tell you one thing. Recently now, is it UNICEF? There is a program UNICEF is doing in Nigeria. They through the Ministry of Water Resources.
Okay.
You know, UNICEF know Nigeria more than even me. They have all the data, all the villages in Nigeria is with UNICEF. You know, the last one they did in Bayelsa, UNICEF said they are no longer going to fund that program. Do you know why? Because they say Nigeria is too rich. So there is no need giving Nigerians that are rich this money. Because one Nigerian will pay $1 million for him to be free from kidnapper. And yet if you go to his village, there is no water for his people to drink, there is no road. How much is $1 million? It will go a long way. Now that is not the only money the person has, because so all these things, we are not helping ourselves. We should tell ourselves the truth and let us nail it on the head and do the needful.
All right, I want to say a big thank you to the director of the National Youth Council of Nigeria in the person of Haruna Okatahi for doing justice, telling us the Northeast and the South-South, the fact that they want to oppress their neighbor, which is not relevant. That's why they move ahead trying to be trafficked in order to make better money on the other side. But like you said, this side of the divide is actually greener than the other side, contrary to what you expect. We'll be going for another quick break. When we come back, we'll still continue with our conversations. We'll be talking on the ills of missing persons, and we'll be having another expert come to talk to us as regards the ills of missing persons. That will be after this break.
Do you know that PTV remains the best place to showcase those lovely goods and services of yours? Yes, with our visibility in 36 states of Nigeria and over 50 countries of the world, we definitely have the talent reach. What are you waiting for? Book your adverts now. Call us with the number displayed on your screen.
My name is Dr. Matthew Ashikeni.
I am Dr. Muhammad Adamu Askira.
My name is Comrade Tosin Adeyanju.
Keep watching.
Keep on watching.
Keep watching
the program Newday.
Newday on People's Television.
People's TV.
People's TV.
Politics is life, and life is politics.
Facebook or Twitter, they govern in those places, but they're not ready to come off like.
On this platform, controversy to take center stage.
We are all aware how this present Minister of Agriculture imported grass from Brazil.
The thing about the latest economy in Africa, I never felt the impact of that economy in my pocket.
And I don't really trust Do join me as we find out who gets what, when, and how.
Welcome to Style TV. I'm your host, Alero Go.
On Facebook, like our page and share our posts at People's TV NG. On Twitter, follow us at PTV_NG. Follow us on Instagram at PTVNG. Watch and subscribe to our YouTube channel, People's TV. Visit our website, www.ptvng.com. Subscribe now and join the conversation online. People's TV, preferred people station.
Alright, you're still watching Africa's finest breakfast show, Newday on PTV. You can actually find us on channel 120 on the Star Times decoder. Alright, the next discussion, we're looking at the use of missing persons. The use of missing persons stems from the tragedy of the person who disappears while the other worst victim hit is the family suspended in limbo on the dilemma of their relative either being alive or dead. Thus unable to mourn or due to lack of proof, thus constantly tormented with the possibility of a miracle in a sacred prison or a life in a new foreign land. So those are possibilities of what people, the families actually go through when someone is missing. We've got in the studios now Olasheni Shalom, who is the Executive Director of United Global Resolve for Peace. Good morning. Nice to have you join us.
Good morning. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. We've seen the intro as regards missing persons. The fact that aside the victim who is in tragedy already, the family also have the pain of not knowing if their loved one is dead or alive, or is in prison in a foreign land, or if he has even decided to start life afresh in a foreign land. Looking at all this, what will you pin it down to? Because most times we're told conflicts is one of the reasons for this. From your own angle, how do you see this menace of missing persons?
Well, missing persons in Nigeria, it's a very critical issue.
Okay.
And we should face it head on. Well, I'll have to commend the federal government for constituting a national technical committee on missing persons. You know, they comprise of the Red Cross, the police force, the International Red Cross Society. You know, it is having a database whereby you can, have a statistics of people that are missing, and having a public engagement whereby families and relatives of the missing persons can be comforted, can find out what has become of their loved ones. So, and this menace comes from different issues, ranging from conflict, ranging from poverty, searching for greener pastures. You see people they live where they are because of the economic pressure on them. So many issues, many factors are added to what people are missing in the country.
Okay, now let's take a look at this issue of missing persons. Before now, it's not something that have been paid attention to. It was just recently, talking about last year, when the day for missing persons was commemorated, I think on August 3rd last year.
Yes.
Yeah. That was when so much attention was focused on the issue of missing persons.
Okay.
Now, you mentioned data. We as a nation have a problem with gathering data. I'm sure you're aware of that. I mean, data collection is really it's not something we're very good at compared to Western countries in the Western world. Do you really see us making a headway with this in this issue? Because we know that data is always a problem for us, and without proper collation of data, it will really be a setback for us. Do you see us making a headway in this? And in fact, that it took all the while up until last year before the government had to pay attention to it. How do you see that?
Well, first of all, missing persons is a world issue.
Yeah, it is.
So, Nigeria joined last year to commemorate the day, right? But then, data collection is not rocket science. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
It takes a will. If we want to get it done, we can. We have a lot of bright and intelligent people in the country. So I think if we really put our mind at it, our heart at it, we can really get it done.
Okay.
All right. It's been said at times some of these actions that leads to people missing are government-related, where, for instance, in conflict regions, government forces kill civilians and mass burials are done without the graves even being marked. For example, looking at what happened in Zaria with the military and the Islamic movement in Nigeria, in such cases, how do you think it can be forestalled for future occurrence?
Well, what you're talking about basically is conflict.
Yeah.
And it has to do with a range of factors.
Okay.
From terrorism, from instability. Basically, if we want to face and tackle that, we have to tackle insecurity first.
Okay.
We need a country where peace reigns. So, basically, government-related involved in the missing persons are definitely part of the problem, but it is not just the problem, it is insecurity problem. So if government faces and tackles insecurity in the country, that can be limited.
Okay, knowing that your organization is into United Global for
Peace Advocacy.
Resolve for Peace, how do you think the international organizations can actually, partner with civil societies to ensure that, the issue of missing persons is resolved, especially when you take into consideration the migration issue we're having currently?
Well, there has to be dialogue first.
Between
the community leaders.
Okay.
Basically, you see communities rising against communities, ethnic factions. You have to find a platform of bringing them together. The other the other sectors or group,
okay,
and both groups have to come together and dialogue. That's how you can get the peace, not through forces, not through armed resolution, through dialogue and diplomacy.
Okay, now let's bring it to talking about missing persons. Let's take a look at the Chibok girls issue as a case study. How would you say, how would you rate the way government has handled it so far as regards missing persons generally? Let's just use that as a case study.
Well, as regards the Chibok girls, I have to commend the military force and the federal government for the recovery of most of those missing girls. However, it is they have a very slow response. It took a very, very long time to get that done, and caused us a major national embarrassment. But I have to commend them for the job done so far.
You see, dialogue played a very key role.
Yes, definitely. The international organization came into I also discovered that the International Red Cross Society were the one that mediated through the dialogue between Boko Haram and the Nigerian government. So dialogue, in that sense, takes a major key compared to bombing the Sambisa and all.
But do you think the federal, you made mention about the committee recently, the technical committee set up for missing persons. How will you rate their job so far? Yes, they've started months back now, but we're not really seeing any concrete job done in terms of, okay, these are the numbers of missing persons aside the Chibok girls from the northeast, and this is how far we've gone. These are strategies for us to get the data of those missing. So how will you rate it? Do you think just lip service by the government?
No, you're right. They just constituted the committee. We are yet to see the practical, the practical effect of the committee. So they are still, I think they are still doing their hard work.
And for CSOs, do you think we're just having more CSOs in the country and they're not being specific, or they're not actually doing the job? We tend to know them mostly when there's a press conference.
No, not exactly. I think we have even less civil society organization in the country. Every citizen should be part of a civil society organization, because we cannot allow this country to sink into decadence. We all have to come together and not just leave the government alone to solve the issues and problems we are facing as a country. We all have to come together and face this issue and tackle them.
Talking about CSOs now, what's the place of CSOs as regards this case you're talking about, missing persons? What roles can CSO play?
Well, civil society organization has basically they have people, members on the grassroots levels that can really work together. They see the problems head on right from the outset. So for them, it's easier for them to work together and solve these problems.
Okay, now let's talk about tackling. We're still talking about tackling the issues of missing persons in Nigeria. What would you suggest as the way forward? As regards the families of victims concerned, what would you suggest? What can be done? Because definitely, like what he mentioned earlier, they will be going through a lot. I mean, missing their members of the families and not hearing anything from them for a very, very long while. What do you think can be done to really help them, go through that period of not seeing their relatives?
Well, there's nothing that can be done to actually bring back their loved ones, especially if they are dead. Or what I think people should do, society should do, is let's share their grief. Let's share the pain with them. It's very painful losing or not being able to know the whereabouts of your loved ones. We have to share their grief, and we have to work together and make sure that we find their loved person. And at the same time, there should be proper reports to the police if the loved one are missing. Probably within 24 hours. If you don't see your loved one within 24 hours, 48 hours, you should go to the nearest police station and report.
Well, have the police really helped? Have they really assisted in this? Because we've had cases of missing people who just leave home and then they don't come back. And you of course, Nigerians report to the police, but at the end of the day, we don't even get substantive results. Can we really say the security agencies are doing what they are supposed to, or they're doing enough as regards this? Because most times Nigerians are able, if I won't tell the police how is it going to help, because they found out the police are not really as active as they ought to be. And are they really doing enough as regards this issue?
Well, we need to start putting trust in our police, because they're all we've got. And at the same time, most missing persons that are reported to the police, when they finally find their loved ones, do they go back to the police to tell them to find their loved ones? They only go to report, but when they find them, they don't go back. That's why this technical committee is very important, because they can have a data bank of missing persons. If they are recovered, you can, factor them out. So I think it's a welcome development.
Before we let you go, just to ask you, though it's on the lighter side, but it's still serious either ways, do you think there's a lesser grief or when a breadwinner goes missing, or when just a member of the family goes missing? Which of them is more harder to deal with?
Well, I think both are very important, because no human life should be lost or no humans should suffer such
But the fact that one is a breadwinner, does that double the anguish of the family?
Practically, yes.
Okay, now taking you slightly away from mistake, it's still connected. Talking about trafficking in persons today, yesterday we commemorate that. What would you suggest that can help youths not want to run away from their country? Instead, they should stay and harness the green pastures we've got here in Nigeria. What would you suggest for youth empowerment in Nigeria to make youths to stop thinking about running away for greener pastures?
Well, it all comes to political stability. There has to be stability, peace in the country, economic pressure. We have to factor out a way to make this country really work economically, because most youths graduate and they go ahead and join the colony of unemployed. So you can't really blame those youths looking forward to greener pasture. But what we can do as a country is, let's really think on how to make this country work out and how to make this country attractive for the youth and all the citizens.
When there's no political will, do you see us getting out of the situation?
Yes, I see all this. Most times when there are crises here and there, it's a call to actually bring out a peace and a stable country. So I realized that all this happening in the country is a welcoming development, because you see things happening in the National Assembly, you see the executive, there are, people are rubbing minds together to actually see that we have a country that we desire and deserve.
Okay, final question. What would you say CSOs have done recently as regards having their own set of database for missing persons? Have they have any mechanism to help tackle missing persons menace?
Well, basically, international organizations are really, really interested in cases of missing persons, because it's a really world issue. And I think partnering with the federal government and the technical committee is the most feasible way now of tackling these missing persons, and there has to be pressure on the government to actually see this as a really, really critical issue to tackle. So when we speak out on these issues, the people tend to take it seriously.
What has been the response from the technical committee, the government, to CSO? How positive has it been?
Well, it's been very positive. We've been cooperating, and
so how far have you people gone, so that Nigerians are aware to know, okay, if I have a missing persons case, I could go to not just this government agency, but this
organization? Well, like I said, right about now, when you have a case of missing persons, you should report to the police.
Okay.
That is where it is now. Well, hopefully, when we grow as a country, and when the committee really works on what they are supposed to do on the mandates, we can actually have that.
Do you have a time frame
for that?
Have they, during your meetings, has there been any time frame that you think?
No, not yet.
Right. Okay, I think that's how we'll be calling the wrap on this discussion as we look at the ills of missing persons, and we've been talking to Olaseni Shalom, who is the Executive Director of a United Global Resolve for Peace. I want to say a big thank you for joining us on Newday.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, I will be going for another quick break. When we come back, we'll still be discussing on Newday some other very relevant issues as regards, probably we'll be looking at all the topics from the legal point of view when we expect a legal mind in the studios.
On Facebook, like our page and share our posts at People's TV NG. On Twitter, follow us at PTV_NG. Follow us on Instagram at PTVNG. Watch and subscribe to our YouTube channel, People's TV. Visit our website, www.ptvng.com. Subscribe now and join the conversation online. People's TV, preferred people station. On Facebook.
Did you know that PTV remains the best place to showcase those lovely goods and services of yours? Yes, with our visibility in 36 states of Nigeria and over 50 countries of the world, we definitely have the talent reach. What are you waiting for? Book your adverts now. Call us with the number displayed on your screen.
My name is Ibrahim Sulemalgui.
My name is Dr. Matthew Ashikeni.
I am Dr. Muhammad Adamu Askira.
My name is Comrade Tosin Adeyanju.
Keep watching.
Keep on watching.
Keep watching
The program Newday.
Newday.
Newday on People's Television.
People's TV.
People's TV.
My name is Ibrahim Sulemalgui.
Politics is life, and life is politics.
Facebook or Twitter, they govern in those places, but they're not ready to come offline.
On this platform, controversy takes center stage.
We are all aware how this present Minister of Agriculture imported grass from Brazil.
The same with the latest economy in Africa. I never felt the impact of that economy in my pocket.
And I don't really trust the Do join me as we find out who gets what, when, and how.
Business is at its busiest, yet it's rush hour. Feel the pulse of the economy. Understand issues that plague the Nigeria economy. Join in the massive transformation happening in the Nigeria capital market. Be financial literate as I bring to you key players, the movers and shakers of the Nigeria economy. Flow with the narratives of how regulations and enforcement, corporate governance, innovative technology, investors' confidence, and market institutions affect the economy. Be the first to feel the pulse of the market on Mondays and Fridays, 4:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. with Gabriel Nisi.
right, welcome back. It's still Africa's finest breakfast show, Newday on channel 120. Find us on Star Times Decoder. My name remains Anthony Momodu. All right, until recently, the international community largely neglected the problem of missing people. For a long time, people looked at the issue as totally hopeless, says Perry Crembo, the Director of Operations of the International Committee of the Red Cross. Then in 1990, the Balkans imploded and more than 20,000 persons disappeared, and families reacted in a very unexpected manner. This led to the world taking note of the fact that the issue of missing persons was indeed very, very key. All right, I did tell you that we will be having a legal mind in the studios. We have Mogelu Chinwendu Ugunle, a counsel with the Latif Fagbemi SANs and Co. In the studio with us to give us a legal point of view to the issue of missing persons, and not also forgetting today being United Nations Day of War Against Trafficking in Persons. Good morning, and nice to have you join us.
You're welcome. Hi. Good morning.
Good morning. All right, looking at the issue of trafficking in persons and also looking at the issues of missing persons, are there legal backings to force the government to let the families of the grieving families know what has happened to their relatives? Is there a legal backing to that effect?
You know, first and foremost, the government has a duty to protect life and properties of its citizens, and constitutionally, we all also have our rights as individuals to certain things. You have a right to, speak. You have a right to demand. And our rights are enshrined, in the Constitution. There's expressly nowhere where the government is mandated or restricted from informing the people. So it will be more of a moral, approach to it, because, I mean, where you have somebody missing, because statistics have shown that where a person goes missing, about 12 people suffer for it, either emotionally, physically, psychologically, financially. And aside from the victim per se, family members suffer. You can't deny people the ability to grieve. And not knowing hinders that process. So it's a different thing if the government doesn't know. As long as the government knows, the onus is on them to let them know. You have to let people know. Because I can go to court and subpoena the person. It's different where it's unknown. Because when nothing is known, you can't expect someone to give what the person doesn't have. But where it's known, you don't have a right to withhold that information. It's my right.
Okay, what of cases where, like for instance, what occurred in Zaria, where some of the Islamic movement of Nigeria persons were killed, but the specific numbers were not given, and at times they said the mass graves were not marked for identification. At that point, with those kind of scenarios, could there be legal action taken against the state or those concerned?
Okay, so we would approach this from a careful perspective. However, where you have, we understand the Nigerian situation. We understand our difference. We understand our uniqueness. In other climes where mass burials are done, it may be conducted differently. But because of our uniqueness as a country and our, approach to certain situations, we do things differently. When you do a mass burial, yes, you can't fold them totally, because there are times when you probably won't be able to identify everybody, which is true, and which is why mass burials are used most times. In as much as some things were not done the way it should have been done in the Zaria situation, but the faults were from both sides, because the thing about it is you can say, oh, we didn't know the actual number, even if that wasn't really the situation. So it's difficult to really throw blames. However, where the facts are clear, where it's known, where you can put your hand and say, oh, 120 people died, and this is mass burial for 120, where it's not, where it's a different setting, where the information is clear, where the facts are clear, it's easier to throw blames and, you know, to say, oh, this person is at fault or that person is not. But that situation was a bit, you know, was a bit dicey.
Okay.
So it'll be better off if we, you know, apportion it accordingly. Exactly.
Okay. Now, from what you've mentioned, that means we have a problem with data collection.
No, of course, that's a general problem. Look, in Nigeria, I wouldn't say in only Nigeria, but I would use Nigeria because that's where we are. The police in Garikitu doesn't know what the police in Wuseitu knows. Wow. We don't have
there's no synergy between
there's no synergy. We don't have a collective data.
Right.
We don't have anywhere you can go to, and it's just recently. I mean, Lagos has, you know, sort of updated themselves,
right,
and in some other few places, but generally across the country, most places don't know anything. You know, we still have the paper and biro ruling and taking notes and all of that, and that's difficult because until we appreciate database,
right,
until we understand the importance of having collective data, until we understand that information is key. You can't fix a situation if you don't know it. You can't say that, and that's a problem we have with our missing people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because most times the problem with missing people, it's not just peculiar to Nigeria, it's the fact that there's no collective data, or the situations are underreported,
okay,
or even the reports that are made are not properly, you know, documented.
Right.
So therefore you find that there's a paucity of information or inaccuracy of it all. And where you don't have correct information, you can't really ascertain what's really going on. Sometimes some people don't even realize that people are missing until years down the line, until it's too late to actually find the person. You're told most times that the first 24 hours, once a person goes missing, is the most important time. And whereby you don't even know 72 hours after that person is missing. How do you find the person? How do you even document it properly?
Okay.
How does the community even know the people that are within to know when somebody is missing?
All right. How do you think we know in terms of missing persons? At times we see people, middlemen act like lawyers or investigators and come in between and swindle these families, promising them of locating these missing persons. How can legal actions be taken against this group of people that are in between?
You know, in our criminal code, there's a section for obtaining by false printers.
Okay.
People don't realize how wide that section is, because anything can come under there. I mean, if I obtain from you resources to do a particular thing that I'm not capable of doing, or I don't qualify to do, I have obtained by false pretense. You know, if I we don't like to make reports because in Nigeria, our criminal offenses are prosecuted by the state.
Okay.
But because of the relationship between the state and the people, vis-a-vis our law enforcement agencies, people would rather take laws into their hands than go to the police. And if you don't report a case, it can't be prosecuted. If it's a civil matter, I mean, individuals can do that by themselves, but you need the law enforcement agencies to do the criminal aspect for you. So until you make proper reports, will investigation commence before prosecution and sentencing. So if you don't report, it can't happen. That's one side of the divide. On the other side, we need to, like the government needs to, you know, well, I say empower agencies and give them the respect sort of that they deserve. I mean, financially and education-wise. Because it's until a person understands his office properly, until a person understands his responsibilities, until a person understands that the world, like the people around you, depend on you, you will never really be able to, you know, give it out. You must know what you have for you to be able to give it out.
So what agencies are we talking about here?
Like, for instance, the police. Okay. Like most of our criminal, you know, petty things, it's supposed to be the police who's supposed to, you know, institute actions. Or the states. Like, if the state is doing it, like the DPR and all of that, doing it on behalf of the people. So in situations like this, if we don't report, nothing can happen.
As a matter of fact, I think Nigerians have, you know, they're very quite laid back on reporting because they've discovered that probably most times when you report cases, so much is not really being done, especially when you're just, I use the word now, just nobody. You don't have the what you need to really push for that case to be looked into. And then also when you take into perspective the fact that our legal process in Nigeria is quite tedious. Yes. So it just makes people they just want to take things into their hands instead of
But that's the beauty of the new ACJ Act, where time frames has been limited. There are time frames for certain things to be done, and it just amended a lot of nonsense that used to happen in the past and took off the loopholes where the prosecution agencies, the government used to use to manipulate situations. So it's the thing is, we're making progress, however slow, however it comes, but we're making progress, and we have to always look at the brighter side of everything. People, we need to generate that trust. We need to come back together as a people. We need to say, okay, we're ready as people to push the Nigerian project forward. We need to say, okay, in whatever capacity I find myself, I have to do it right. If you're the police who are supposed to investigate, you need to do it right. We need to educate. Like in Nigeria, for instance, we don't have first responders who actually know what you're supposed to do. When a case is first reported, how to go about it. Sometimes, in as much as we need paperwork, it shouldn't take over. The bureaucracy of all of it shouldn't interfere with actually coming to people's aid. So it's a collective approach, it's a collective impact. It's something that we all need to do together, because if the police can't do it alone. Because in as much as we have our stigmatizations for them and our what we think of them, they're still the very good ones among them, who are always willing to help, willing to come to your rescue, willing to do whatever they're supposed to do by law. And we should try to encourage that, and that's why we also talk about the government. Sometimes you find out that these people are poorly funded, or even if they're properly funded, it's not used for what it should be used. That's why you find yourself having to mobilize the police, buy them petrol to come and do what they have to do. So little things. I think everybody has to come together to play their roles in whatever capacity we find ourselves.
All right, how key do you think it is to re-register people during conflict situations, like where there's a conflict in an environment? Do you think the idea of going ahead to still register people during that conflict time frame in order to avoid people missing or being killed, do you think is a strategy that could help?
What do you mean by re-registration?
Let's say we're in the local government, and normally they have registered over people, probably those born within that community. But during crisis, people, run,
Go
trying
away,
to, So within that time frame, is it possible to get a register of people that are run within that time frame? Would that help in solving missing people's problem?
First of all, it sounds very beautiful in theory. But
in reality,
in practice, how possible is it for you to register at a time of conflict?
The civil society, the International Red Cross, and other NGOs that are within that area giving some kind of aid support, can they be made to do that? Or if they do that, would that help?
Re-registering, I feel like to re-register at the time of conflict is a bit dicey. However, right after conflict, during the rehabilitation, rebuilding, yes, registration should occur at that point, because then you have a more settled environment. You have a more concise group of people remaining. So you can say, oh, these are the people left, and then when you register, you can come to terms with people that have gone and people that are still there. But then again, the situation with that is they may not really be missing. Because, if you're of a certain age, you have a right to pack up and move and leave. So what you'll be able to find out are people that are around and people that are no more. Then from that, when you have that list, you can now differentiate and say, oh, okay, family members will be able to say what condition or what situation that led to so-and-so person leaving. If it was somebody that left suddenly, you now start to draw the line. Voluntary move or, actual missing person or forceful,
disappearance.
Exactly. So, it would help. It would help, but I don't think it would be
ideal
at the actual time of conflict. It should come right after, during the time of rehabilitation. That's the best time. It would help.
Okay, still talking about missing persons. It's just about last year when the day for missing and disappeared persons was celebrated. It was celebrated in Nigeria for the first time, or commemorated for the first time in Nigeria last year, and that led to the setting up of a committee on missing and abducted persons database in Nigeria. Yes, I don't know. from your point of view, do you see that from then up until now, and we've not really heard that, okay, these are the number of persons missing, these are the number of persons we need to find. What's your view of that? Do you say that's a very giant stride on the part of the government as regards missing persons?
You've asked two questions. I'll take one after the other. Yes, it's a giant stride because, we have to start from somewhere. Well, at least the government has acknowledged that people are missing. We've acknowledged that something needs to be done. The government has also acknowledged that something cannot be done unless we collate the amount of people that are missing, unless we actually know what's happening. So yes, it's a giant step, and I applaud them, because when you start from somewhere, you progress. Then your other question was why we haven't heard anything. Let's look at it like this. When you, ordinarily as a child, you learn to crawl, you learn to walk, and then you run. Some people didn't crawl, some just walked, some just stood up, you stand up, it's a process. However, whereby you didn't crawl, you didn't walk, you didn't run, and you're like, what, in your teens? And then they're trying to teach you, they're trying to teach you how to, first of all, walk. Yeah. In fact, stand before you can walk and run. It's not the same thing. Your bones are stronger. Your mind is more developed. You don't have the same. Your fears are already there. If you're going to be able to carry yourself when you stand, so it's harder. You don't expect it to happen at the same pace it will happen if you were a child. Okay. So yeah, I think we should be patient. At least we've gotten one. Let's be patient.
Yeah, I just had a very funny thought in my head. Which of them did you go through on the lighter side?
Which of them did I go through?
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm not sure, but I think I crawled. I did all of them. I crawled. I stood. I crawled. I walked. I ran. I did all of it.
All right. Just the final question before we begin to let you go. Can there be a legal action to be taken against absence of political will and those agencies that are supposed to carry out this job of trying to tackle missing persons? When there seem to be no political will and the agencies related are not really forthcoming, can families institute legal actions against them?
Yes, you can. You can, but it'll be from the civil perspective, like I said. Okay. And most times it could be done through mass actions. It could be done through NGOs, human rights groups and all of that. Okay. Because when you have, most of our agencies are come from, they have acts that establish them, they have powers, they have duties, functions. And where you've taken up an oath to do a certain thing and you don't do it, you owe the people an explanation. And if there's proof, if there's enough legal backing for you to establish and say, okay, A was supposed to do this and they failed to do this, you can actually institute actions. You can. But then you're going to have to be able to show the negligence on the person's part. You're going to have to find a way to couch it into the law. Whether you're coming from a negligible perspective or this person has been negligible in their duty of care towards me. But you have to get things that need to be established for you to succeed.
Could you just give us an idea?
For instance, if I'll use the NDLEA for instance. Okay. A lot of, you see cases against them whereby, I bought medication and this company is supposed to has the NAFDAC number or has the numbers you're supposed to have. You can easily go. People sue NAFDAC here and there, especially where you buy products that actually have the NAFDAC number, seal and everything. So it means that this product actually went through the process and is certified. And then when it turns out that it's not satisfied, they failed. They didn't do something right. So you can actually sue NAFDAC and say, oh, okay, you were supposed to ensure that this product is okay. And you've told me, prima facie evidence, prima facie is on first instance. Okay. I've picked up this product. The first thing I'm looking out for is the NAFDAC registration number to be sure that you've certified what, the test, you're safe for me to consume. And once I see that, I have the right to assume that it's safe. Second thing I'll look out for is the expiry date, which is my own part of it, because they've put the expiry date. And once it's still within, I'll take it. Yes. Now, the problem is, if the NAFDAC number in it is fake, that's part of my duty to check. Okay. To be honest, only if you want to do it, you can shift that responsibility to them. Yours is just sue them. Then they cannot prove that, look, this NAFDAC number is fake. It wasn't certified by us, but you've done your part.
Okay. All right. I think that's all the those we can have. I want to say big thank you to Mogelu Chiwendu for doing justice as you guys give us the legal perspective to the troubles of missing persons and not also forgetting looking at trafficking in human, which we are celebrating today, the United Nations Day. And the fact that now we know better that we can actually institute some legal actions against the government and relevant agency if they do not do their own bit of the job. I want to say a big thank you for joining us once more and wishing you a very beautiful day ahead.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be going for a quick break. When we come back, we'll be wrapping up Newday for today.
Do you know that PTV remains the best place to showcase those lovely goods and services of yours? Yes, with our visibility in 36 states of Nigeria and over 50 countries of the world, we definitely have the talent reach. What are you waiting for? Book your adverts now. Call us with the number displayed on your screen. Do you know that PTV remains the best place to showcase those lovely goods and services of yours? Yes, with our visibility in 36 states of Nigeria and over 50 countries of the world, we definitely have the talent reach. What are you waiting for? Book your adverts now. Call us with the number displayed on your screen.
All right, welcome back. Still Newday, still Africa's finest breakfast show. You know why? Because we've got the finest minds in here. We'll bring them to talk to you about relevant issues and not forgetting on somebody just close by.
Yeah, at this point, we'll be wrapping up the show today. Thank you for being with us from morning 7:30 a.m. up until this time. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same station. Saying do have a blessed week ahead. I remain Chinomsu Amadi.
And I am Anthony Momodu saying good morning.